In today's video, I'm going to take you behind the scenes and show you how I find good winning products to sell on Amazon. I'm going to be sourcing live right on screen so you can follow along and see what works with real examples. This is exactly the kind of stuff I wish I saw when I was starting out. Let's get right into the video. Alright guys, so what you're going to want to do first is just come to Amazon.com and search a big brand that you know of and that you've heard of before. And it doesn't have to be any brand in particular. You're just going to want to look for something that says it has either 50, 100, 250, 500, 1,000 plus bought in the past month, because then you know that it is definitely a good selling product. And we're going to start off with this Nike product. I know that new sellers are unable to sell Nike, but we're not going to be looking at sourcing Nike products in this video. This is just a well-selling product that other sellers that are on this listing are going to have potentially different brands that we can look at. And the whole idea is that if they have one good selling product, they're bound to have more good selling products also. So you're going to scroll down in Seller App and you're going to find the offers tab here. And you're going to want to open their storefronts. Typically, when you're starting out, don't really pay attention to the FBM sellers, because when it comes to fees, there are lower fees for FBM sometimes because their shipping cost might be lower than what a FBA product would charge. So you might not find as many profitable items, or you might have a hard time finding things that are profitable in that range of FBM, because with the lower fees means that they can have a little bit higher buy cost than you could have as an FBA seller. So we're going to start with this first FBA seller here. And you just want to go through and look at the products in here. If you want to sort by different brands, you can click on these like we talked about in the Seller App tutorial. So if you haven't watched that, go watch that video to get an understanding of how all of this stuff works. But we're just going to start out with the top brand here underneath Nike, because like I said, new sellers can't sell Nike. And another thing with Nike products, starting with them, is that you know that the sellers on those listings are going to be well-established sellers that have been around for a while, because the cutoff was sometime around maybe a year ago. So if they have Nike products, then that means they've been in the game for a lot longer than potentially people without it. Now, some people that don't have Nike could be around just as long and they chose not to sell Nike, but you know for a fact that these guys have been around for a while if they do have it. This guy also has 627 ASINs right here, but you can see in each one of these brands that there are a lot of products in here. So you're just going to scroll through this list and try and see if you can find them on Google by pressing this Google button. But if you have certain criteria, you're going to pay attention to these boxes when going through this list. If maybe you don't want this much competition because you're newer and you want to stick to a lower number, maybe 15 to 20 or even 10 sometimes. If you see an offer that's at 30 right here, then you're going to want to skip past this product if that is part of your criteria. Also, the BSR, the sales rank here, when you're first starting out, you could get up to 150, maybe even 175, 200. But as you start to scale up and you want more volume on your products, you might want to try and stay closer to 100, maybe 125K max here. But we can see here that we need a max cost of $19.52. So knowing that, we're going to click on this Google search button and we're going to see that this is the same product picture that is right here. So this would be that exact product coming from the brand itself. So we can open this page here. I know it's at $25.50, but there are some other methods that we can use to possibly bring that price down. But we can see here, right at the top actually, you get an extra 25% off of orders $175 or more, or you could do 15% off $125 order. So right off the bat, we know $25.50 is the price. So we're going to open up this Amazon product page also so we can do some calculations in the Seller App panel over here. So we had 25 and it's going to be 25% off. So we could do times 75%. And right there, just off that, this product does happen to be profitable. Now, you're not going to see often that the first product in somebody's store turns out to be profitable, but in this case, it just happens to be that way. So if we wanted to sell this product as is here, now if you have tax also in your state where you live in, you're going to have to apply that tax here, obviously, for sales tax is what I'm talking about. But what we can do to add even more of a margin, and if you do have sales tax and that maybe pushes this 1913 over the 1952, we can come over to a really good site called Cardbear, which is going to sell us discounted gift cards. So just by searching the brand or the store name, you can see here that we do have 4.9% discount on these gift cards from this website, GCX. There's no reason to be skeptical about these sites in this list. Personally, I've purchased from every single one of them, and everything always works. There's no issue with being scammed or anything like that. They're completely safe, and if anything does go wrong with your gift cards, these sites will refund you your money back. So there's nothing to be worried about on that end. So we have 4.9% off here. We can just call it 5 for the example. So then what we can do is we can take this 1913 and times it by 95%, because it's 5% off 100. And then we've got a buy cost of 1817 here, which is 34% ROI, $6 profit. This is a really good product right here. But what we haven't done is looked at the Keepa chart, which isn't looking too great. It's decent. The only thing that's worrying is this price drop down here and a continuous downtrend from March 23rd all the way down to here. So knowing that, what I would typically do if I was going to try and sell this product is check this 34.23 price. So what we can do is we can come in here, 34.23. We're still profitable and we've got some room to move. And what else I'll typically do is just see maybe how far we have to go down. Depending on what your minimum is, minus 25% ROI, that would mean that I could go down to 33.23 if the price did drop down there. We can also take a look at the offers in here and see that they're all FBA in the top 10. There are 4 FBM offers, but 35.27 there. Nobody is left at this 34 price, and that is the seller that we found this product from right there in the buy box, as you can see in that pink box. So keeping those things in mind is definitely very helpful to analyze these kind of products and see if you are going to make the decision to purchase this product or not. Now, with it being at 153K BSR, only 52 sales per month, wouldn't recommend maybe buying a lot of these if you're new, because sharing across all of these, if there was even buy box rotation, which there's not all the time, but probably going to be on the lower end of the volume scale there. So let's move on to the next product and just see if we can find these. So we're just going to go in order here. We're going to open up the Amazon page and the Google search. The correct process is going to be to look at the chart first, which I didn't do on that first one because I wanted to show you how the gift card site worked and just the proper calculations on everything. So we would want to look at the Keepa chart down here to qualify the products right off the bat, because if the Keepa chart doesn't look good, then you're not going to want to waste all of your time doing all of those price calculations for every single product, which for this one as well, seller count is rising steadily, price is decreasing steadily. So probably wouldn't recommend doing this just because of how unstable this price chart is. So in my process, I would just ignore this product and just close it out. But we can see if we can find it profitable. So we needed 14.36 there. That looks like it's going to be this product right here, which we know also it was 25 off of 15. So just for the sake of the calculation, actually, we'll open this one back up and just see what the numbers look like. So it was $14.99 plus 25% off. So that right there, just off base price, is not profitable. So if there was no sale going on, then you probably wouldn't want to get into this product. But with the 25% off and then the 5% off gift card. It does make this product pretty profitable. The numbers, 71%, 27 profit, and $7 profit right there. So again, use your own kind of criteria for this. Like if you would want to get into this, maybe as you're more experienced and you're not learning the process, you may take a chance on this product, but I personally wouldn't, just off of the things that I said before. And because it has reached this price down here before, hasn't really gone lower than that except for over here, and then again down here recently. But just on a risk factor, this is a very risky product. You can see that very drastic increase in sellers right there over the last 2 to 3 months. So just off those charts, wouldn't recommend buying that product there. On to the next one. We'll take a look at the Keepa chart here. Again, same thing here. Increase in sellers and just complete drop off in price right there by about $8. Has leveled out for the past week, but still very risky because you never know what these sellers are going to do with their price. Has gone down there before when Amazon came in stock. People tried to beat Amazon and they came in stock here again, but they actually sold out right when the price dropped. Maybe that did influence it a little bit, but you'll never really know on that end. So we'll go through the same process again. Maybe we'll find it on a different store. No, it is the same one again. So $25.50 times 75%, profitable off of that, and then times 95%, even more profitable. So if these Keepa charts looked good, then we would want to take a chance on this product. If it looked maybe more like this, then we would want to invest in this product because that is a very stable Keepa chart here. Obviously, you're never going to be able to predict the future and tell that this is coming, but if you're trying to predict it, you are also going to lose out on a lot of opportunity because maybe this didn't happen and then you missed out on a great product. 22K BSR here, 983 sales across all the variations, but still 22% or 22K is a very good BSR right there. Let's just keep going down the list and see how this one looks. Wow, same thing. Seems to be a trend with these Calvin Klein products right here that everything is just dropping off and cutting in price. Another $8 drop right here, and it's probably going to be on this same sale, so $39.75 here. It is navy though, just like this one is actually dark black. That's going to be the navy. So that's interesting that this title says black here too, but the Google search brought up navy. So either way, we know just by double checking the color here what the correct color is. So if something like that happens to you, then you just want to make sure that you double check it here to make sure you're not buying navy ones, sending in navy ones when it's supposed to be black. That could cause some issues for you down the line. So looking here, is there a black one? There is a black, and this is going to be brown. Green, okay. All right, so we've got the black color there, $39.75. $39.75. 75%. Profitable off of that times 95%. 1586, 6% ROI. So you would be profitable at this price. Very profitable at this price. If you wanted to see maybe just how far down you could go, you could do and see here what the bare minimum that you would be able to make your margin on is going to be. So it'll be around 51, maybe 51 and a half, 51 and a quarter even. Because you don't want to just look at this break-even price and say, okay, this is going to be the price that it could drop down to get my minimum, because it's not. This price is going to be your zeros across the board just to get your money back. So always do this manually because you'll want to check that kind of stuff just in case price does continue to trend downward if you do buy into a product that's doing that. Let's move on to the next one. We'll actually go to a different brand and see if we can find some other products that are profitable, because those seem to all be because of the sale. Now it is Memorial Day weekend when I'm sourcing these products. It will be a couple days after when this video goes up. So that is why all of those products were on sale. So you're not always going to get a good sale like that, but you might want to pay attention to when those sales are coming around, so that way you can take advantage of them and make sure that you can get the maximum out of those kind of discounts. So we needed $21.78 here, and this might be it. Might not have the right color, but we can double check it here. Classic t-shirt. It does look to be the same t-shirt. Original crew, cotton crew neck. Although this is only the black color and does have all sizes there. But we were looking for the navy, so we can look at the black version here and see what the prices would be. If you wanted to, you could just click through all of these and see what the individual prices pop up to be, and then check their individual Keepa charts, which this one looks like it's not selling very much because this is just very flat and blocky type of offer chart right here. So if you wanted to check all of them at once and see all their Keepa charts at once, you come into the variations tab, and it's going to show you all of their offer charts and buy box charts next to each other right here. So what you could do is just sort by price here, but if you want to just group them by color, you can come across and do a sort by color, so that way you can see it. I just want to make sure that this is just black. It is just black. Okay, so this is going to be going down in alphabetical. Okay, so this is where we're going to start the black, and it actually ends right there. So we've just got this little panel worth right here. So we're going to come across and we're going to check this here. So we've got no buy box on this one. We do have offers, very, again, flat and blocky right here. Same thing goes for this one. This one's a little bit better than those two, but still not great movement in here. Same thing as the first two, and the same thing as the first two. So if you were going to try one of these sizes just based off offer count, you would want to check out this. But taking a look at the buy box chart here, it is another just drop off here. So we'll open this up and see it in bigger detail, and that's going to be the large size right there. So this is exactly what pulled up there, but it is a very blocky chart here, and this up top chart with the price doesn't look great either. So I would avoid this product just based off those two things. But what we can do here is we can see right off the bat $19.97 here is going to meet this margin, but if you have tax or anything, it's going to push it over the edge. So if you were trying to sell this product, just for the pricing example here, we'll come over to Cardbear, we'll do Nordstrom. Now, for just Nordstrom, and there may be some other stores that do this as well, like maybe Dick's Sporting Goods and Public Lands, for example, Nordstrom shares their gift cards with Nordstrom Rack. So this is a little bit of a tip here, because you could use Nordstrom gift cards on Nordstrom Rack. So that way you wouldn't have to do the 10% necessarily. You could do the 14% here if they had gift cards that were in the amount that you needed. Because sometimes what you'll run into while looking at some of these sites is this could be 14% off a $10 gift card, and they only have one. So when you're actually doing your calculations, you're going to want to open these sites up and double check the amounts that they have to make sure that it will actually fit your budget. And also, it does say in the top right there that you can only use one gift card per online purchase, but you can use more on Nordstrom. I'm not sure why it would say this here, but what you would want to do is just Google how many gift cards can you use on blank website online, because then that way you'll be able to tell. Or you could always just do a chat with customer service if you want to make sure if they have that option, or give them a call and just say, hey, I have a bunch of gift cards that I wanted to use on an order. How many can I use per order? And then they'll tell you their exact answer. So here, if for whatever reason this 14% and this 10% weren't big enough for your order limits, you can come over to Nordstrom Rack and get them for 7.8%, which is the same thing here. And they actually have a code right now that you can use up until May 28th to get 5% off your purchase. A lot of these sites also just have one-time new account promotions that you'll be able to use for some percentages off. So if you are going to use those, maybe try and pool some orders together from different stores, so that way you can maximize that discount and not just use it on a small order. Coming back to this, since we're not really interested in this product, but we will do the calculation anyway. So we're just going to assume that we're going to get a 7.5% discount, because usually these big ones are going to be smaller discounts or smaller gift cards. So 7.5%. So we're going to do that. And we got it down to $18.47. That's a pretty good margin right there. Again, not a good product to sell, but a very good margin right there. So we will get rid of these, and we'll come down and see if we can find something with a good chart here. We'll just try to open some of these up at the same time, but these are also very high BSRs, so the charts are probably not going to be very good. As we can see there, not a good chart. Here, even worse, just completely flat. Somebody finally sold out right there. And then we've got very flat and a bad price trend downward, which is surprising because it looks like it's majority 90% just this one guy dragging his own price down. So if you see something like that also, then that's a very good tell that this product is not selling very fast, because he's having to undercut his own price to try to get it cheap enough for people to want to buy it from him. So we'll move on to the next brand here. And we will open up some of these and see how we can find these, if they are profitable or not. All right, so let's take a look here. That's a decent chart right there. It's on a slight downtrend. The offers are moving decently. It's not a huge velocity item right here, but we can check that out here. $18.66 is our cost. And we've got it for, that might be a 1-pack. Only 3 left in stock. Let's double check here. Sounds to me like it's going to be a single, just because it says this tank top instead of like these tank tops or something, kind of insinuating that it is a multi-pack there. So we do have a 3-pack here, but I'm not sure if that's going to be the same, because we can see down here that there is a little logo. And on this one too, it is a CK logo there for the brand. Now this one does not have a logo, so that could be what this product is, because it is hard to tell with his hand over that exact spot right there. But just looking at the rest of them, they do have one here that doesn't have the logo on it. There is one here for a 5-pack that doesn't have a logo on it. So I think if there was going to be a logo, it wouldn't have his hand right over the spot where it was going to be for their product image. So that's not going to be safe to assume that that is this product. So it would most likely be this one. Now let's see if just by going through here, we can find one with the logo on it for cheaper, which is not looking like it's going to be. You can also look down in here into the popular product section if there is one for the product that you're looking at, because as you can see here, it says Amazon.com, but then it says and more. So if you looked here, you would just scroll down in here and kind of check this list, which there's only 4 of them. Sometimes there's a lot more in here, but this is not going to be anywhere close to the price that we needed. So that's not looking like we're gonna find that one. Another thing you could do is maybe take a screenshot of this page or like download this image or something. You can do a Google search by image here, and you just click on this and then drop the photo into it, and it'll pull up results just based on that photo instead of scrolling through all of those offers down here. If you wanted to kind of streamline things a little bit, you can do that. But we're just gonna say that that is not the right product. We can check these, and the color is different than this. So what we'd want to do again is come down into here. Not a great chart right there. Amazon is really dominating this listing, but we'll come into here again and do the sort by colors and just make sure that everything else is kind of disqualified as well just before we end this product right here. So we had, it was white 3-pack, 3 white tank. Okay. So we'll do that, and 3 white tank right there. It took the filter off of it. Okay. So we've got 3 white tank. It's the only one. Yep, it is the only one. So I didn't notice that. These were all dotted lines around the sizes, so that just means that they're out of stock. So this is the only one available, and 1136, it's going to be extremely hard to get 1997 down to 1136 just for the sake of checking that out. But just based off this chart here, as a new seller, you're going to want to avoid this. And even in general, you'd probably want to avoid this because offers are not really moving. They are somewhat, but you got 14 offers in here and they're going down very slowly. Amazon is all over this listing. People are going in between these 2 buy boxes down here. As you can see, these prices changing by those lines there. You could also just check the buy box statistics and see maybe is Amazon actually dominating the buy box and not just the listing being on it all the time. As we can see here, 30 days, only 15%. So they're not really controlling the buy box here, but just with how volatile that price was, and we can't even get it close to that, you're not going to want to waste any time looking at this product. The next one, we need 1427 here, and we can search that up here. That is not bringing us to the correct title because, as you can see, that is the title there. So what we can do is just copy this and put it in here and then search this. See that we needed 1427 for a 4-pack. That is not the same brand there. That's a 4-pack with the image of a 3-pack. So that's interesting. We've got nothing else here. 29, not close. Nothing there. Hockey again at the beginning there. Not much going on for that. So what we'll do is just check this. We had 1997 here and needed 14. So those gift cards are unfortunately not going to bring us down that far, but we'll do, just for the example, 1997 times, it was 92.5% for the other one because they were 7.5% off. So we're at 1847. You can see here we're in the negatives. There are 10 offers and they do jump up a decent amount after the first guy. So at 34 we're profitable, but the first seller here has 53 units there. So it might take a while for them to sell out. You don't really want to base your buying decisions off how long you think it's going to take somebody to sell out. So I probably wouldn't get into this product for that reason and for this reason here, just cutting down. It has had the buy box down there for about 9 days now. So not really a good investment that you want to make into a product like this. So for the last, since this chart looks like this, we'll do another one because this is a bad keeper chart. Nothing here is selling out, and he cut his own price like we saw earlier, probably just to try to get some sales in there. Let's see if this one looks any better. And that's another thing that I didn't mean to do, but accidentally missed that button. So if you wanted to see the kind of product details in here for the financial stuff and the offer counts and everything just on a quick glance instead of going through Amazon.com. You could just click on the product here. If you click on this one, it'll switch to it. Same thing goes for here. And then you just click on the X to get rid of it if you wanted to. So we had this product here, and we were going to open the Amazon page. Oh, we do have the on page right there. So we'll get rid of this one, and then we will see if we can find this product here, which might be, it looks like the same color, but it's boys. No, it's gray, dark gray, light gray, and white here. And the band has that color there, so it's not this. Not looking so great in here. Don't see anything in that list there. It's not, it could be a different colorway on this or on this one here. Not looking like it just based off those photos, but we'll double check anyway because sometimes it is different, and as you can see here, it is different. But it's a completely different product image here too. So that link is not working there. These are unfortunately not, is that black or gray? It looks very black to me. See if there's any colors in there. Nope. But I'm gonna say that that is definitely black and not gray. So we didn't get that one either. See if we can end this on a good product right here. See if these are all pretty much the same variations of different things, and see if we can find a new product. Well, we haven't looked at these yet, so we'll see if we can get these and then see if we can find these ones right here. So we need 1956. This is decent. It kind of looks like the other one. Not a ton of offer movement in here, but the price is staying relatively stable, and it's a very low sales rank, 19,000 right there. So we'll see if we can find those. We did actually look at the white version of these, so we probably won't be finding these for a comparable price, but we've got 33.25. What was our price here? 1956. That is probably not gonna have, it might. We've got an extra 10% off there if you sign up for an email. Then we've got an extra 20% here. So let's see how close that brings us. 33.25 times 75% for the 25% off. And then we've got 24 times 90% here. And it brought us profitable, but not up high enough right there. And this is gonna be the same thing as the other one. Let's see if, yeah, that is not the right product there. Cotton t-shirts. Yeah, so that is not the right title there. Let's see if, yeah, it's all the same here. Another Gap Factory. Nothing is close. I'm just scanning the bottom pricing down here just to make sure that nothing is close, and then looking up at the product image and title to see, instead of just going through all of these titles and images first, because that way you don't use as much time up focusing on things that aren't really necessary to look at here. So those were not possible. These are all, this guy just has variations of every product here. Let's see. I think we looked at a different type of these, but not necessarily this one. So black, white, gray. These are the product here. We do have a different supplier there for $10 less. So we'll open that one too. Macy's $64. Walmart's at $29.99. But depending on if it's third party or not, you might not want to buy from somebody like that. 43. Still nothing there. Nothing there. So we'll take a look here. So we've got the 20% and 10% off, and this is going to be that one right there. So we've got $45.15 times 20%. So 80%. I think I did 75% for the last one actually. So that buy cost wasn't even, or the profit wasn't even going to be as high as it was showing before. So then we've got the 10% off here, 90%, and we've got it very profitable there. Then we'll come over here and we'll do Calvin Klein, 50% off. So we'll just round it to 98% here. 98%. Just to get an estimation. When you're finding out your final buy costs and everything, you'll use the prices that you paid for the gift cards. And then if you have any balance left over that you're paying to the retailer or the company or the brand, then you'll add that remaining cost to the cost of your gift cards to make your final buy cost. This is a weird Keepa chart. There's no sales activity for the whole like 400 days except for here with Amazon in there. See if we got any other variations in here, because this is very profitable. Very profitable. So we've got anything else? What was our price here? It was 64. That is gonna be very high compared to the rest of them. See how far we could go down to get to our 25%, because this is also a very easy way to do this whenever you're looking for different variations of stuff. So we're gonna have to be at least at this buy cost at probably around 57 even. Yeah, 57, maybe 25-ish. We'll get it up to like 45, 35. It's probably gonna be 40. That's our even break even at 25. So 57.40 for this buy cost, probably not gonna happen there. 48. You could just sort by current buy box price also. This is going from least to most, so then we've got highest to lowest here. Not a great chart here, kind of blocky, not much movement there. This one doesn't really have much either, just two people going in and out right there. It looks like these listings, most of them have been dead for a while. Because there's not much going on there. This one has some good movement in there, starting to, but not much. Yeah, all of these are pretty slow, it looks like. And then we've hit below our price that we were wanting to make right there. So unfortunately, this was not a great chart here, but with it being 26K sales rank, you could take advantage of it being sold out for so long and being one of the lowest or low number of offers that are on this product, because then you'll get a majority of the sales that way. But when you're testing products out as a new seller, you'll probably want to go for stuff that has proven history in these charts. So that way you're not taking on that much risk in a product like this. Because if it turns out that this product doesn't sell at all, then you're stuck with it. And you don't want that to happen, where you're stuck with certain products. Even though at this current price, it is great margins and everything, it could really just not work out for you like you think it's going to work out for you. So once you get a little bit more experienced and everything, then you might want to take the risk on something like this. But I wouldn't recommend it for somebody that's just starting out in selling on Amazon. This one though, $35.99, was also not really where we needed to be, because there's no discounts or anything on this site. So we will not worry about that one. We'll see if we can get one good chart in here. 50 per month only. Horrible chart. These are really all just the same things over and over again. 2141 for the V-necks. Possible. Oh, that's Calvin Klein. Not possible. There is just endless variations here. 974. Probably pretty low. All right, well, we got a lot of good reps in here for how to do the calculations, what to be looking for, and everything like that. So I think since we're running into so many different products that are profitable, but the Keepa charts aren't good, what I would recommend for you is to go take a look at the Keepa tutorial that I did. So that way you can get an idea or a more in-depth idea of what you should be looking for while you are sourcing these products. So that way, when you're doing it, you'll know exactly what you need and what you don't need, and you can do it more on your own and build that muscle memory of what you are supposed to be looking for. Hopefully this video gave you guys a clearer look at how I source my own profitable products. Make sure you leave a comment down below if you have any questions, or if you just want to see more videos like this. If you're interested in starting your own Amazon business, or you just want my help one-on-one, check out the link in the description. Don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video.